Now let's talk to him, man. I want to talk to Puff right now.
Yes.
Now it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah. Check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking.
All right.
Thank you.
Now is the time to return there. Diddy is the moment.
So do you think Puffy was involved?
Only they can answer that question. Right. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. Right. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I could say that would back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. Right. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. Right. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you seen what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out. It was gonna go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New York is commenting on me. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing.
Diddy is having a strange day today, everyone. I am drenched in sweat since I just obtained reputable sources have reported that the feds addressing his most recent accusations are also collaborating with the prosecutors in charge of Tupac Shakur's attempt to make connections between Key and Diddy and discover a reason Diddy could have made was engaged in Tupac's unconventional life if
I wouldn't have never met him, I wouldn't have never been involved in this, you know what I'm saying? If I would have never met the brother, I wouldn't have never been involved in this. Really.
And that's not every boy. Tupac's family included recently engaged private solicitors and detectives to examine the Diddy connection. Therefore, a group of people are searching from all perspectives and with the greatest conviction that something will soon appear on our feeds very soon.
But nobody know why Pac and Puff fell out like they did. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody know why. But Puff had an obsession with him for whatever reason it was, because he started wanting to act. He started wanting to rap. He had an obsession so bad that at his Grammy Award winning speech, he used the same speech that Pac used.
All right, everyone is aware that the self-confessed Los Angeles gang kingpin right now, Keefe, is the only one accused of carrying out Tupac's murder September 1996. So that's going to happen. Diddy has been highly involved and cited and mentioned 77 times in records provided by the prosecution in their refusal to grant Keefe's plea for bail, really speaking. But based on sources, the FBI detectives who placed Diddy and shared by behind bars data with the Los Angeles, the Tupac trials prosecutors are trying to investigate pause eye links between Diddy given what transpired with Tupac, and unidentified insider said that federal authorities have been collecting information from the prosecutors in Las Vegas and their associates with relation to more general accusations and connections to unlawful activities, individuals and groups involved in organized crime who was motivated to kill Tupac at first. Reports were that no one from the office of the DA was scheduled to state that Diddy is now being taken into account in this instance. The first goal was to construct a sturdy and as convincing an argument as feasible to a jury. Unquestionably, Key made the call, and they had no doubts about having a substantial body of evidence to prove that instance. But now that things are reversed, and together, the feds are attempting to link the details showing Diddy's involvement in the federal investigators, according to sources having as their focal point the Diddy's contemporary activities. Yet they understand that Vegas has been crashing data covering the last several years about the Tupac case, and conversing with tens of witnesses accurately described their work assembling data from many agencies from the over 3 decades about Keefe and his relationships and exchanges with the most comprehensive are the criminal aspects. Examination of Tupac's network and way of life. Federal agents have wisely chosen not to increase the amount of labor but have been made aware of the situation, as well as a working together makes it easier to the feds can easily get federal papers. Who investigators from Metro have talked with about the matter and know witnesses as well. It's likely that they may already be aware of Diddy after retiring the head of the LA Phil Carson, a field office. We told the Daily Correspondence he thought Keefe could have turned on in order to save his own skin. He said that it's not like the bygone era of the mafia in Italy where everyone was kept closed their mouths. As soon as someone has shackles on them, they'll liquidate their own mother. Keefe is now detained, and that's a revolutionary as they possess something over him, at which point he might begin to revealing all. He's an original from out there he's shaking hands with. A number of each and every one of those men, the big shooters, has a tale to share on how the back then streets were run, so who's to claim that Key did not begin to discard anything? something he hasn't before discussed, maybe to save his ass. But that's not stating that's the cause of federal legislation enforcement carried out the warrant executions on, though it would be at Diddy's place intriguing to learn about the supporting data and the source of the evidence for these affidavits in order to get both these warrants for. Searches must be anything significant. Bear in mind Greg Kading, a former LAPD investigator who examined Tupac's case between 2008 and 2009, already disclosed that KD gave his nephew Anderson, holding the gun that removed Tupac, who was occupant in the vehicle, them, and together they left and met, if you've seen it, to target Tupac, the investigative documentary that you most likely be aware of how he discussed how Diddy struck each Tupac with a $1 million hit. Shakur and SG Knight in the wake of the widely reported rat fight, including Biggie and him, as well as how he brought in KD to complete the popular documentary claims that Crips took out Tupac. Orlando Infant Lane Anderson is a gang member. Despite the fact that the first strike was intended to be completed by KD and plans, as said, were altered at the last minute after they abruptly arrived on the incorrect side of Tupac's car, hence instead, the hit was executed by Key's nephew. Also revealed in the documentary was Key ID. Faith Evans, that Biggie Smalls' former spouse, claimed to be aware of Diddy's scheme to remove Tupac. In fact, he said that he got in touch with Faith and Diddy to let them understand that they were accountable for the death. The investigator explained that Giant wasn't involved in eliminating Tupac in spite of their well-being documented rap beef. He said that the Biggie was unaware that Diddy intended to take out Pac as well as his manager, Sheshi Knight, but Diddy was later on for sure. When questioned whether he believed, the detective KD informed the Daily News that you get a strong impression that he's speaking really sincere and openly. He seems to be narrating the tale as someone who saw the fluidity, quite logical, but what truly persuaded all the evidence pointed to the truth for us. He revealed to us what he was unable to have, recognize unless he was really a participant, such as KD was aware that was a backup that evening that investigators maintained secrecy. KD has also spoken and done enough to accuse himself of causing the untimely death of Tupac. For example, in a conversation Vlad TV showed him a policeman confessional in which he delved deeply precise information regarding what on that fateful evening.
Lane starts blasting. You say Suge looks over, he sees you.
Yeah.
He looks right at you.
Yeah, he looks at me.
Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting. The story is Tupac's trying to either get out
in
of
the back seat or something.
Yeah. What do you see happening inside their car?
I seen a bullet going Suge's head. I thought he was dead.
So Orlando across Dre.
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window, popped.
Who was it?
They would drove on my side. I would popped them. You know what I'm saying? But they was on the other side.
In essence, KD affirmed that he was one of the 4 inhabitants of the white Cadillac approached from the side. Prior to someone entering Tupac's vehicle, 4 times the car shot at him, and that wasn't the only occasion on which he made it in addition. He has boasted about riding in the car in his memoir Street Legends of Compton. Now in his Vlad Keefe ID said in a TV interview that the $1 charge for the takeaway a well-known hip-hop artist paid $1 million. Star to Eric Von Zip, a gang member, although he never revealed who the well-known hip-hop The Bounty was promised by Star, but he has already said enough to indicate that Diddy was the one. These, after all, are only a few of the issues that surfaced in court. And since the matter is still pending, expanding Tupac's family requires how to persuade justice to acknowledge Tupac's as brother. Moper Shakur already said all the people KD has ever said in pertaining to Tupac must be kept responsible. And upon being questioned on, Diddy said that Diddy had in fact told him over the phone that he had nothing to handle it. But he wasn't sure whether he was attempting to be serious or was merely hide his footprints.
The boy Puffy called me though. Puffy called me back in the day. He called me, he was like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brothers. I know who you are, but we never met. And I just want to call you man to man, let you know that I ain't have nothing to do with your brother's death. Now, why was he calling me, reaching out to me? Because LA Times had just dropped, it was in the early 2000s, LA Times had just dropped an article in the newspaper implicating him as well. I told him I appreciate the call, but the truth is yet to come out, so we gonna see.
Nonetheless, after Key's arrest, as well as his later found interview bringing up Diddy, they believe that they ought to really investigate the matter further sharply. He even said, while discussing Key, D noted a few individuals who maybe succeeds in doing so at this stage in the game, who's responsible for them, likely to make everyone he speaks to regarding accountability. I'm not required to anything this person said about D's named law enforcement's duties. Will they carry it out? Pac seems to be being relieved since earlier in the times when things were getting worse, everyone believed he was insane. have not articulated it well enough, but not that he was incorrect. But guess what? Tupac's family has already hired an attorney to confirm that in the event that any proof that will connect Diddy to the situation where sources will be located, first-hand information leaked, that members of Tupac's surviving family members have hired legal representatives Alex Spo and Christopher Claw and a group of detectives to examine Keede's renewed accusation that Diddy made to give him and his group money so they could pack in the 1990s. It seemed the family believes there may be a reason why, both with the legal team and this claim they've started, and want to dig, bringing forward any relevant evidence that might confirm it, as the solicitors intend to follow up on any lead they come across. It is said that the Diddy accusation will be the primary objective of this private inquiry, and the group feels certain they'll provide possible proof. If they do, adding additional ducks that are lawful, any information linking Diddy and the suspected misconduct will be sent to the appropriate authorities to investigate for potential criminal prosecution if nothing reveals. Tupac's criminal history relatives could investigate bringing a wrongful death case, once again providing they find evidence to support it. And when I convey to you that the strain is appearing from every direction, it's not looking Diddy is doing well. Eminem is still keeping up his belief that Diddy is engaged in both of their unaltered lives. Tupac, on his new single Fuel with Biggie Shady Edition, is available on the recently revealed Slim Shady's Passing Expanded Murs Edition, a return by Eminem. The claims that Diddy had anything in connection with Biggie's and Tupac made it quite evident that those are still his ideas, as though he really wops his infamous B's passing was the last straw. Tupac's impact on our living, such as his face, whose card should I clean next, using tissue, puffs till he's handcuffed by the cops, will he confess like G never, surrendered, knowing full well all the it would have been me or living there combined. Ready for me to choose none of them, my comments with caution, as if the feds addressing Diddy's current debts are working with the prosecutors on Tupac's situation. I'm certain that they own anything, whatever it may be, on Diddy will undoubtedly be released when it's ready. But in the meanwhile, tell me what you think about this new partnership, as well as what do you think of Tupac's family as well? Using private detectives to entering the relationship give those ideas a rest. In the space designated for comments below, indeed.